And my special power would be the ability to talk in every single language, including animal language. Like every single animal language.
Something teleportation. Being visible.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's too.
Oh, I'm Shanique, and my special power would be to go back into the past and correct mistakes.
I would probably want the power to do everything and anything I want. I'm Lydia and I don't want to sit about.
I'm Yasmin, and my superpower would be to stop time, but I'd still be able to move.
Fly.
So I'm a magazine designer by trade, and before I had this job I worked on Rolling Stone and Mademoiselle and various other cast titles in America, but now I'm here. And my job is to work on all the major brands within the business, developing their editorial story in order to best engage with the audiences that we have. My work is primarily print, but I do work on some of the digital propositions. But as you know, because obviously you're working on a website, 3 years ago you would have been coming in here and you would have been working on a magazine. So you're quite in the right place. You know, the world that we live in now is a digital world. These devices have changed the way we behave, you know, in ways which we have not yet even begun to understand. I'm impressed and slightly envious because I'm still working on a print magazine and you're building a website, so I should be asking you really, shouldn't I? But I do spend a lot of time working with brands. I do spend a lot of time working with journalists. I do spend a lot of time telling stories. And so, you know, I'm strong in that area. So if you've got any questions around how you want to talk to your audience and stuff like that, then I'm very happy to you know, answer any question really.
If you've got like a website with this, if you're trying to keep it quite low budget, how do you try to promote it in the beginning on this to try and get it up and running and have enough attention?
That's a fine question. I think that talking about it on social networks clearly is a very good start. You're all on Facebook, so you can all share that information within your user groups. I mean, there are traditional routes where you can just use traditional press. I mean, local papers, you get people in your community to talk about it. I mean, word of mouth is the most powerful form of advertising ever. But I think if you have a piece of content on the website which is truly valuable and really interesting to people, can actually relate to the story that you're telling on the site, that's the most powerful marketing tool of all.
We're going to have videos, like pictures and that, but we're also going to have like true stories.
Yes.
Where we wanted to like go and like interview people and then obviously type up their stories and put it on the website. But instead of like just writing out like a whole sort of documentary on one person, it sort of gets a bit boring. What would the best way what would be the best way to sort of get people to want to read it but not get bored?
I think you'd have to understand what people wanted to take away from the story. So if it's practical advice, then you can do your story. It's like the 7 things I've learned, 7 top tips. That's a very quick and easy way to do it, and that can come from one voice, come from many voices. You can put in expert voices in that as well. The 5-minute interview, you can let your users understand it would be very, very short. You could start with a really powerful and emotional quote from the person whom you're interviewing, which has the heart of the experience that they had, if that's what you want your users to be able to do, is to share.
Came up with the name My Size because basically our website is it's mainly about how boys nowadays like talk to girls. So it's sort of aimed at 11 to 16-year-olds, boys and girls. Well, we named it My Size because that's one of the most cheesiest sort of like chat lines that boys sort of use nowadays, like talk to girls. Some of the ideas we had to put onto the website would be Rate My Chirps. So it's sort of like where we would go into different secondary schools and film boys given like their best sort of like chat lines they'd give to girls in the streets, and then we would sort of record girls like feedback on it, and also like give an alternative, because boys these days the things they come up with, like you're my size or you're boom ting and things like that, it's not really that nice. So
I feel like you're talking a different language.
So it's like, I don't know, and also the girls could give an alternative to how they would prefer to be spoken to, which also it would be fun to watch, but also the boys would probably realise, oh, let me try that next time, and then, you know, probably they get a better result at the end of it. We also got like top tips, so like sort of to do with like the how boys talk to girls. Like our top like 5 tips that we think would help like how to portray yourself like when like meeting someone. We got pictures and captions, like big pictures, and obviously the captions related to the pictures. True stories, so like personal stories from like past experiences. Obviously nothing too long and boring, and a really like sort of vibrant picture to go along with it to make it more interesting. Yeah, we could have like alternative chat up lines, video like 5-minute interviews, photo shoots, so like producing a photo storyboard that sort of like along the lines of like a timeline that could sort of show it's sort of like basically like the life like in a day of somebody but using pictures. So, and then also we had also decided that we wanted to involve things on the website, like not only like to have like fun and that, we wanted to make people aware of like the laws and the boundaries of certain things, like for example like new pictures and things like that sent through like BBM and like what the laws are. And also we were thinking like to have like sorry. We were thinking maybe to like have a police officer, we were going to record a police officer and actually have them explain what could happen to you if like you was to take a picture and send it about and other people would get it, and because obviously it's sort of basically illegal. And obviously where you could get help for certain things, so like maybe clinics, like obviously based on around sex, or maybe other like more like sort of deep stories, like for example rape, and where you could get help and advice and confidential support. So yeah. Chats is sort of what most people like our age call chat up lines. So when
Yes, I thought that. I meant to ask that.
So like if a boy was to go and sort of chat up a girl, like we would call it chats.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll get in chats. So yeah.
Let's come up with an idea for a website. You start off in the middle and things branch out and you see where users might go. So that's a good way of visualising it. But obviously there's a lot of humour involved. I think that really helps, especially with some of this that doesn't become too serious and dry. And you thought about the visual aspect, you know, like basing it on photos, and so I think that sounded really good to me.
The name of our blog is called Making Movements. We decided to call it that because, like, when somebody's getting moved to, I would say, like getting chirped or getting chatted up, like normally you get their friends in the background saying, "Oh, he's making movements, he's doing this," so we thought it would be a good name. And our blog is about trying to educate boys about how they talk to girls by making them see the female's perspective. I know a lot of people might say, not all boys talk to girls like that, but it's basically for the boys that do talk to girls inappropriately. And our audience is teenagers aged from 13 to 16. Our editorial proposition is to basically tell boys what we think is inappropriate and what we think is appropriate, and to offer guidance, like basically with all the features that we have. Like the 5 top 10 polite ways to talk to a female. We can have, and people that think, oh, you missed out something, or you could add in something, we can have feedback at the bottom. And we can have timelines in the form of diaries, where we can have one diary of a boy that's going to chat up a girl, and we can have the other diary of the girl that's getting chatted up, so we can see their different points of view. And we're going to integrate social network sites by getting a Facebook like button at the bottom, and a page on Facebook, so people that have been on the website can also like it, and a Twitter page where you can follow our website.